So today I'm showing you guys how I make my home fries. I have some sugar there, black pepper, Lowry seasoned salt, and some garlic powder. And I also have my 4 large potatoes here, which I've already boiled and allowed to cool. I have some chopped up onions here. You definitely need your onions. If you don't have onions, you are not making home fries. So now I'm just peeling the potatoes. I boiled the potatoes just enough to make them soft enough to peel and cut with no problems. You don't want to boil them for too long, because if you do, you will end up with mashed potatoes, or if not mashed potatoes, they will be too soft to keep their form. So I just allowed the water to boil, and then I put the potatoes in the boiling water and I allowed them to boil for maybe about 25 to 30 minutes. I did get that idea from Philly Boy J on YouTube, and it just made the potatoes so much more tender. Here I am cutting my potatoes. I'm slicing them, and you can cut them in squares, you can cut them in circles, however you like your potatoes. I am just slicing them in circles, and then some of the circles were too big, so I just had to kind of cut them in half. You'll see my Six Flags cup and sustain back there. This is not an advertisement, by the way. So here I have cut up all my potatoes, and I actually had to cut up more onions because I realized I had more potatoes than what I thought I did. And I like just as much onions as potatoes in my home fries. Okay, so I've already allowed my pan to heat, and now I'm adding my oil, and I'm using vegetable oil. You can use the oil of your choice. You see my little bump in my pan? I don't know if that came like that or if it's just because I've had this pan for so long, but I pretty much fry almost everything in this pan. So here I add a little bit of onions just to make sure it's hot enough and it's frying, which it is. So adding them in. Be careful because the oil is hot. So I'm just going to let these saute for only about a minute, because they're going to continue to cook when I add the potatoes anyway. So you don't want to cook them for too long. Okay, so they've been sauteing for about a minute, and I'm going to add my potatoes. Notice how slow I'm adding them. It was popping just a little as I added the potatoes. So be careful. You definitely don't want to get burned. Just get all those in there slowly if you need to. Do not get burned. Okay, here I'm adding just a little bit of sugar, and I do not measure my seasonings. I just add enough to my liking. I just simply look at it, and if it looks like enough, it's enough. You definitely want to season to your own taste. You can add as much or as little as you like. I use a lot of seasoning salt. I love Lowry's. I use it in just about everything. So season to your taste, because you are the one who have to eat it. You and your family are the ones who have to eat it. So season to your and your family's taste when you're cooking. I never use measurements. Okay, so here I'm just flipping the potatoes, not really stirring. I'm just flipping them just to get that seasoning mixed in there and those onions mixed in there. Just flip this just a few times, and then I'm just going to let it saute, and I come back every few minutes just to kind of stir them again, because you want to make sure the potatoes are cooking evenly. So try to flip as opposed to stirring. Look at those onions. Look at those potatoes. Look how they cook now. I love my potatoes to be nice and tender and soft, and oh, I just love home fries. These are my favorite. Look at that. Look at that. And adding the sugar, it just kind of caramelized it a little bit, and it just kind of balances that salty taste. It's not really to add sweetness to the potatoes, more so to caramelize it just a little bit and to balance that seasoning salt that you add. And look at that. These home fries were so good, and I don't just say that because I made them, but they were really very good. So if you decide to follow this recipe, definitely let me know how they turned out. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.